Kristen Patton. I'm a registered dietitian, and I am also mama to Ella Bella. And what are we making today? Butternut squash. It's gonna be yummy? Ready? Now that we have our oven preheated to 400, we are going to start with our butternut squash. So I already cut all this up. Isn't that awesome? Okay. So we're going to use part of this because we're actually going to do the butternut squash in a few ways. Can you help me put that on there? Good job. There we go. Perfect. We're going to use that much. All right. So we're gonna do this in two different ways. We're gonna make some sweet and then some salty. So if you have more of a preference, you can do one or the other. So, yeah, are they stuck together? Yeah, you can move them all out. Just putting them in an even layer. All right, good job. Spread them all out. We call these orange cubes. They're fun to stack later. You wanna use some olive oil?
Uh-huh.
Ready? Here we go. Drizzle, 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 drizzle. Ready? Keep holding. Drizzle, 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 drizzle. Okay. So you can use a parchment lined sheet. If not, our pan's just seen better days. So ready? You want to shake it? Ready? 1, 2, 3. Shake, 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 shake. Make sure you get the olive oil everywhere. There we go. Here, you want to use your, let's use your hands just a little bit. Yeah, that's right. So this is kosher salt. So what we're gonna do here, 1 second. We're gonna do half of it salty, so we're just gonna draw a little line. We're gonna do a little bit of salt right here. Yep, just a little bit. Oh, good job, maybe a tiny pinch, little pinch, and sprinkle it everywhere. There you go. And we're gonna take a really small pinch on the sweet side. You're gonna take a little tiny pinch and just do a little, yeah. Oh. And if it gets clumpy, here's the good news. You just move it around. So we're done with the salt, sweetie. All right. Salty, salty, salty. So here, the salty ones, that is really all we're doing. Keep it really simple, and that way, hey, it's a good texture. All right, so what is that one, Ella? Is that cinnamon?
Yeah.
So we're gonna do a honey cinnamon. So we're gonna do it on this side. Just do a little, yep, go tap, 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 tap. All right. This is the good thing. As much cinnamon as you like. And we're just gonna mix it up. Yeah. Here, Mama, we'll mix up the cinnamon. Make sure we kind of get it all over every piece.
That's honey.
That is honey. So we're just going to do it on this one, okay? Just do a little drizzle. Ready? Yep. Slow, honey. There you go. And this is not an exact measurement type of thing. You just get to put however much you like on there. There you go. And we're just going to toss this together. Ready? Let's do olive oil first. Ready? Here we go. All right. Now, would you like to give a pinch of salt? And we're just using kosher salt. And no matter what, I always use a little bit of salt because anytime you add salt, it actually makes things retain and draw out moisture. There you go, that's good. So that way it makes everything a little bit more tender. Not to mention, salty also brings out kind of the sweetness of the butternut squash. So, neat thing about whenever you roast butternut squash, this has a ton of beta carotene, which is a precursor to vitamin A. So it actually will retain all of that vitamin A even through roasting. Whenever you're bored, this is a great thing to do. All right, ready? On your mark. And that is junk you can have. Oh, that was awesome. Your turn. 1, 2, 3, jump! Oh, that was awesome. So while everything else is baking, yeah, we're gonna start making the base of our butternut squash soup. So this is a little bit of onion. So normally if we make a much bigger pot of this, we're gonna be using a whole medium onion, but we are using, here, we're gonna do that in just a second. We're gonna use just a little bit of it because we're gonna make a smaller scale. So 1 medium onion is what you start with. And use a little bit of olive oil. Here, you wanna turn this on with me? Ready? Remember, red is hot. We're gonna use that in just a minute. Ready? Okay, turn this on. Ready? We turn it on. We're just gonna put it over medium high, and then we're just gonna wait. Okay? You wanna stir it up for me?
Yes.
We're gonna stir up the onion right here. This one's a lot more waiting, isn't it?
And I try around waiting.
There we go. Always have to have snacks while we're waiting. All right, check on our onions here. And hey, since we were doing a snack, maybe a little bit more brown than I like, but here's the good news. They're just meant for a little flavor in here. So we're gonna turn down this heat. Actually, a little crispiness. If you like texture, this is probably the best thing to do in here. So. Okay, yeah, now you can add the apples to the pan. Whoa. What do we say?
What has happened?
That's right. All right, Ella, do you want to add a little bit of cinnamon?
Yes, please.
Yeah. There you go. Okay, that's it. That's good, that's good, that's good. There you go. All right, now you just want to give it a good stir. Here, I know it sounds weird to put cinnamon on onions, but all we're doing is just kind of letting these sweat together. And as I said, this is all going to be kind of pureed together. So apple and butternut squash goes so well together because it just kind of complements how sweet it is. So how I do just to kind of soften up those apples, put on your lid. And then just do it until everything's a little bit tender. Normally I'd take the onions just to translucent. Hey, I wanted them a little bit crispy today, and time got away with this with a snack. And to bring out a little bit of sweetness, little pinch of salt. Ooh, do they look good?
Nope.
Nope, you don't think they're done yet?
No. Nope.
Let's see, so you know how I tell if they're done? If they're just a little bit squishy with my fingernail. Guess what? They're done. So if you want to add a little bit more sweetness at this point, this is where you could either add a little bit of coconut palm sugar. If you want to add a little bit of brown sugar. Today we're going to do the lower sugar version. I think the apple is sweet enough. So.
And you just, come on. That's when I can bite.
But we think it tastes good just like apples, doesn't it? Can you say apples are sweet enough?
No.
They're not sweet enough?
No.
Are you sweet enough?
No.
So we're making our butternut squash apple soup right now. Yep, and we're gonna save a little bit of the apple. Yep, you wanna take it, you wanna put another little spoonful in here? Good job. And I'm also, can I use a spoon? We're also gonna put a few pieces of butternut squash that we're not gonna puree. I just save a little portion. Everything we're doing right now is on a smaller scale. So pull some aside, reserve that. Now we still have all of our apples and onions in there. I'm just going to add the rest of the butternut squash here and add some chicken broth, and then we're gonna go from there. You can also use veggie broth too. We just have chicken on hand. Now what we need to do, this is nutmeg. This goes a long way. So I'm gonna add a tiny pinch. You wanna add a tiny, so just between your fingers and go pinch.
Pinch.
Yep, just like that. There you go. And then just dust off. Dust. And then we're gonna add a little bit more cinnamon. Here, you wanna tap the back for me? Tap, 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 tap. Just a few shakes of cinnamon in there. And I had already added some salt and pepper, so you add that to taste. So now, if you want to add your chunks back in, and if you just want to puree the whole thing, go for it. We like things a little bit more hearty here. So push that in. There you go. And then we're just going to stir that part in. Good job. So what we are pureeing is whatever your favorite marinara sauce is and a little bit of these butternut squash cubes. I'm just going to mix them together. And now we have a butternut squash marinara that you can easily throw over pasta, but it's a great way just to hide some veggies. Okay, you want to try it? So we're trying our butternut squash pasta sauce. What you think? You like it? Good. You want to try the soup? One last bite of pasta. Huh? This is a butternut squash lunch, isn't it? Is it good? Which one's your favorite? The soup? Yeah? Awesome. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed our several variations of butternut squash today. I'm sure there's a wide enough variety that hopefully you'll find something that'll work for your family. So now for some nutrition tips and some tricks to change up the recipe. Well, first off, butternut squash is very rich in carotenoids, beta-carotene, any of your red or orange kind of vegetables. That's what they're kind of known for being high in. It's also high in vitamin C, folate, potassium, magnesium, fiber. So good, well-rounded vegetable here. Specifically, it's high in the phytonutrients zeaxanthin and lutein. Why are those so important? Well, first off, phytonutrients, they are basically plant-derived natural compounds that tend to have either immunity or vitamin base or antioxidant, things like that. So these specifically are related to eye health. They're fantastic, of course, for eye development, things like that. But these specifically, the zeaxanthin and the lutein, they are best known for really preventing risk of age-related eye disorders such as macular degeneration, things like that. So optometry dream, just saying, hey, eat more of these foods, kind of keep those eyes healthy. Yeah, so that's really most of the nutrition benefit. Not to mention, it's very high in fiber. It's considered low glycemic index. Remember, that's preventing those sugar highs and blood sugar. It really just kind of keeps everything a lot more stable. It affects the blood sugar slower. These are pretty moderate in carbohydrate content. You could eat about a whole cup for even 15 grams of carb, which is one serving. So comparing these to other starchier vegetables, hey, a lot lower starch content. They tend to have a lot the higher fiber there. Not to mention, this is one of the highest nutrient contents. So good little swap there. You can also use them in place of sweet potatoes. We do that all the time. Hey, puree them or mash them. You can use them kind of as casseroles. You can throw them in eggs. You can throw them in, a quinoa or a rice bake. You can, so applications are endless here. One of the other questions I get, do I always have to use fresh? The answer is no. Really, a lot of your frozen options, they're flash frozen these days. They're picked at the peak of ripeness. You tend to get a lot more nutrient content there. So it's a fantastic alternative. Just know that most of your vegetables, they're about 90% water. And whenever you're freezing those, you're freezing the water inside of the vegetable. So whenever you unfreeze, whenever you thaw them out, whenever you cook them, hey, that's rupturing cell walls. You're going to get a softer texture. So they always tend to be a little bit mushier than if you're cooking from fresh. But hey, it depends on what you're using it for. That's fine. Something is important to know, though, the difference between using fresh and frozen products. I always encourage use a variety. For convenience, we use frozen a lot, but to make sure that you always have some fresh items in there. Any of your fresh foods, they tend to preserve a lot of those phytonutrients a lot better than they're frozen. Beta carotene specifically, it's protected in the fresh, so you lose a little bit of it when it is frozen. But other things, you're really not losing a lot of it whenever it's cooked. One great thing is beta carotene is actually enhanced whenever you cook it, more when it's roasted or baked. Really try not to cook with a lot of water, and so excessive steaming or actually boiling any of your vegetables, you lose some of those other ones. So butternut squash also has vitamin C and folate and potassium. Those can be leached out when they're in water. So it is preferable to actually bake or roast. So those are kind of some good options. So really in a nutshell, the benefits of it. It's a fantastic food. You can see that Ella loves it. I also have a 7-month-old, loves it too. He kind of demolished a whole bowl of that soup. So, well, I hope y'all enjoyed this episode of Ella Eats, and we will see you next time.